by far.
Stand by. Let us make sure we're good on the cameras. Nadia, I'm going to wait till you give me a thumbs up. Anybody else need an audio test? Brandon, are you good? Nadia, are we rolling? All right, y'all are ready. Fire away.
How difficult was the self-examination of the offense yesterday as y'all were going through
It was tough. I think first and foremost, we got a group of young men that really care. And so as coaches, you're definitely hurting for them and always want to evaluate yourself first, see what you could do better to help them in a game like that, in that situation. But there was some good things on tape. They did some good things, man. They played hard. They played physical. That was the challenge from the top in this game, is we wanted to come out and match them physically to the best of our ability, play hard, play tough, and get back to playing Clemson football. The one aspect of Clemson football that we didn't do is we didn't play smart at times. We broke down. I mean, you're gonna lose some one-on-one battles here and there in a game like that when you got such talent on the field. But there were some critical mistakes that we made. That's not part of our formula for success. But I thought the effort was really good. I thought they were tough. We just made some critical mistakes and it resulted in 7 points for them. And then on third down we missed some opportunities. I thought there were 3 third downs out there that we should have converted. That puts us at 50%. Would have got us in the red zone, which could have possibly resulted in some more points.
When you go back and look at what you could have done to help them better, what kind of stands out to you? Man, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done this.
Right, definitely in a game like that, you want to evaluate. You always got 20/20 in hindsight. Probably should have stuck with the run game a little bit more. It felt like it wasn't there as much as. And when you go back and watch the tape, we were actually creating some holes and we had some RPO stuff if we had a couple balls off. So probably stick with the run game and definitely down there in the red zone. Got a little anxious, wanted to get that ball in the end zone. Went 3 straight passes there. Probably should have ran it on first down. See if we could get a couple more yards there. And then also right after the turnover, I said it, after the game, I looked down on the call sheet, was reading the call off, and got 2 similar calls, and I called it wrong and put DJ in a tough situation that resulted in a sack, which now got us out of field goal range. So those are a couple of things that I could do better. But we wanted to be aggressive. We wanted to attack. We knew that the weakness of their defense, if they have one, is their secondary. We knew it was going to be tough to run, but probably would have committed a little bit more to the run. Still want to stay aggressive, and then in those 2 situations down there on the 5-yard line and then right after the turnover that we got, thought I could have managed those situations a little bit better.
From a big picture perspective, how important is it going to be to get some semblance of a run game to keep this offense?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, we're at our best, and I mean that's philosophically that's what we want to be. We want to be balanced, and we knew it was going to be tough, and told you guys we were going to have to generate some run game. And 7 plays in the first quarter. We were backed up. In some tough situations. The first play of the game. We got everybody blocked up but one. That play is probably going to go for a little bit, and then it turns into a 2-yard game. So it's going to be critical. And our guys understand that, and we're committed to that. And we just got to get. Biggest thing for us is we just got to get in rhythm, get our timing down. It's the details at every position, and getting on the same page. And we got to work through that. We got to grow, as a group. And this is going to be a great opportunity to learn, for our staff, because we got some new guys on the staff working together in some different spots. So we got to build a continuity there, especially from a game day perspective. And then for our team, just understanding the importance of the details. Not many times do you have a game like this coming right out the gate, where the room for error, the margin for error is so small. And it comes back to 1 or 2 plays.
Tony, how much tougher is it to take, knowing that your own team's defense, what they did, and you didn't need much?
That's right. And you always want to play complementary football. And biggest thing for us is they did their part, special teams did their part, and we didn't do our part, in that game. And it should have been a 3-3 game going into overtime, at best. But we scored 7 points for them just on a miscommunication, not being on the same page, resulted in points for them. So it's tough. But man, we one thing around here is we win and lose as a team. We win and lose with class. So we understand that they got our back, and we don't feel guilty, other than we just want to do our job to help this team win.
Tony, some of the option routes where they're trying to read, is that something that was a concern at all going into the game with the receivers trying to figure out, I guess, the option?
No, not at all. I mean, we've we added that aspect of our offense last year, and I think in practice and going into the game, we were probably 85% or better in terms of reading it the right way, everybody on the same page. The biggest thing there is it was a different look, for Ross in that they brought pressure. Now you got to work on the drop down guy, but he's played enough football. We've ran that enough times. We got to get on the same page, and that's just that's the and what we can stress now is that's the one or two plays that if you don't have that maximum intensity and focus, it can result in a negative play, especially when you're playing against a great defense like Georgia.
Were there any other instances other than that play where receiver and QB kind of weren't on the same page?
There was one other. I think the second, third down. We had a missed signal read where we were trying, and we were in quick game. We were in quick game protection. So it's 3rd and 4. We're in 5-man protection. We're trying to get the ball out quick, and we weren't on the same page there. That resulted in a sack. And obviously we had a physical breakdown as well. Technical breakdown. Putnam's got to bump back a little bit quicker, but still we were in a hot situation because they're bringing more. They were blitzing our back. Obviously we're free releasing our back, but we had enough time if we're on the same page with the receiver and the quarterback. That ball is going to be completed probably over the middle, and we're running, and we're now, possibly in plus territory. So that's one of the, like I said, I thought there were 3. The one, that one there, the second, third down, the one where we had the interception. That should have been a converted third down, and then the critical one at the end of the game where we dropped it. So that's three third downs that we should have converted, and now we're 8 of 16, we're 50% on third down. And then also, too, those are going to be the plays that extend drives, and you never know what's going to happen throughout the course of that series.
To me, it seemed almost like a perfect storm. DJ didn't play well. The offensive line didn't play well. Receivers weren't reading stuff. A perfect storm. But when was the last time, or can you remember a time when it all went bad like that in one game?
I'm trying to think, and I don't know if I can think of one. And there's been games where we've had those moments, but we've been able to overcome them. And that's just the point of emphasis to these guys today is that when you're playing against the teams like Georgia, what I'm saying, and as we get into our schedule, as we get into that championship phase, that room for error. So there's been some situations where we've been out of sync, but we've been able to overcome it just because we may have been in a situation where we got more talent, and then the game kind of, allowed us to recover from it.
What have you told DJ about, hey, don't be afraid to tuck it and run.
That's right.
Don't be afraid to trust your first read.
Well, and that's going to be something, too, that we're going to be able to evaluate because I thought there were a couple of, an offensive line is going to get, thrown under they're going to get thrown under the bus, of course. But you see that there were some situations. The first sack, it's a 3-man rush. A couple of things we could have done better. Don't flush out of the pocket. Stay in the pocket. There's a nice pocket there. The back's got to get out. Young back in there trying to do too much. He's got to get out and give him somewhere to go. At least if you get it out, we got more yards on the punt. And we're not taking a sack right there. Or he steps up and he realizes that we're expecting man, but we got his own answer, step up in the pocket, deliver the ball to EJ. We may have a chance for the first down. I thought there was another one late in the game, where he started to the right, prefer him to start to the left with his progression. He started to the right, tried to come back to the left. Once it's not there, then you just, he had an opportunity to run. So those are going to be things that we're going to be able to coach the young quarterback about, and excited for him and his opportunity to grow. I think it's always tough that we opened up with the question about it being tough, but adversity is good. I think when all of us think about our lives, right, the most growth comes after an adverse moment. And so this is going to be a great learning opportunity for our staff and for our offensive staff and for our players. And I anticipate nothing but what these guys have always done is respond the right way. And so DJ, we all know his character. He had a bad night. It's tough because we get embarrassed on national TV. I know I've already got the Twitter fingers sending me hate mail, telling me that I suck and I need to be fired. I need to go back to Michelin and things of that nature. And it hurts, and it hurts for a couple of reasons, right? It hurts because I know how much work this offensive staff and these players have put in. I know how committed they are to this program, right? And nobody wants to go out, on national TV and not play their best, right? So that's where it hurts. And then I know the fans are passionate. Right, I understand, how passionate our fans are and what the expectation is here, and so then it hurts. I hurt for them because they're upset, right, that we didn't perform well because I know what it means to them. So yes, there's a feeling of hurt, but we can't wallow in our pity, right? We got to change our perspective and we got to draw on, what only thing we can is how do we respond? And these guys are going to respond, and I'm excited to see the growth that's going to take place. You got a football team that cares. You know, they care, man. They did what Coach asked them to do to a certain extent, man. They came out, they played hard, they played physical. You know, I didn't feel like we physically just got outmatched. Now, we got beat, you know, with some one-on-ones, but you're talking about NFL players going against NFL players. You're going to lose some one-on-one matchups. The biggest thing we got to do, you know, as an offense is just focusing on the details, you know, the little things and everybody being on the same page, because that's the thing about offensive football. It's chemistry, it's cohesion, it's all 11 on the same page. And we were off Saturday night, but we got a good group of young men. We're going to accept the challenge, and I'm excited to see where this group is going to finish up.
Coach, why would you go to Twitter? Why would you even look at Twitter?
I don't go to Twitter, but then like it comes like I gotta do it for recruiting, right? So I get a notification, and I go to notification, and then it's like go back to Michelin, or somebody sends me a direct message on Instagram because I don't know if it's a recruit or a family member or something, and I open it up, and but I understand their frustration, and the only thing I can express to them and anybody out there about this group of young men is that, man, they've worked their tails off. They take pride in what they do. They're not perfect. We obviously didn't intend to not have our best and be off a rhythm and out of sync, but they're going to work, right? They're gonna grind, and it's going to be exciting to see how they grow together, down the stretch.
Tony, I think I recall the first scrimmage of camp.
Yeah.
Was a pretty big struggle for the offense. I'm wondering if you saw some similarities in that day, and then Saturday night. Some of the
I think the two issues with the snap, kind of resonated from camp. We addressed some of the snap issues. One, Backhorst, in talking to him, on the sideline, he thought he heard DJ, and so we kind of double clutched it. And then DJ just pulled off on a third. That's another third down right there. We dropped the snap, on a third down situation. He just took his eyes off of it, pulled away a little bit, dropped the ball. Those were the things that made that you think about first when you go back to that scrimmage, And I think the tough thing was, the situation with Ross, those timing issues hadn't arisen, up until we got into the game. And man, he had great practices up to that. Man, I thought DJ was prepared, locked in. The final meetings down the stretch, man, he really knew the plan. So I wasn't anticipating, what I was anticipating seeing is what you saw in the last quarter of a half out of DJ. Man, some of them throws that he made on them corner balls, that's what I was anticipating. So proud of him for being able to shake the adversity off, in the crunch time when the game's on the line, and put together, some drives to give us a chance there at the end.
How hard was the timing of those drops? But I think just caught a pass over the middle, and y'all got kind of, it seemed like y'all were getting a little rhythm there with those two fast snaps happening back.
Yeah, yeah, those are the things, man. And in a game like that, when you're playing against a defense like that, the way our defense is playing, man, you're just trying to find a rhythm. You're trying to find a rhythm. Then once you get the rhythm, then boom, you can generate the big play. And so it was tough, and we just can't. And then, I think we had another situation where, where I think we were second and 4, and then we have the penalty. And then we back up. And so then now we're playing in another third and long situation. So we just had too many third and longs, and a lot of it was self-inflicted. So you got to tip your hat to Georgia now. That's a really good group of guys on defense. But there were plays for us there, that would have kept us, in the game and moving the ball to help us catch rhythm that we just didn't make. And that's just, and I'm glad it happened now. So that the guys can learn, because you go out and you play somebody and you score a bunch of points and the film doesn't look great, but you have the feeling of success. Now these guys understand, and hopefully it'll just create that sense of urgency, for every single snap, because it comes down to a handful of snaps in the game, but it's all about who makes them, and we didn't make them.
In regards to personnel, you told us with a couple of weeks left to go in camp, you really wanted to pull Hunter Rayburn through the knothole.
Yeah.
Would it be the best scenario, especially with Mason now with a broken hand, that Hunter come through that knothole and you're able to move Bach back to guard, or is it too late for him? Or
first in defense of Bachman, I thought first time playing center, in a game like that, and I don't know if y'all saw 99 walk out at pregame. I said Dexter Lawrence. I got to go back. I got to pick somebody else. He might be Green Mile. You know what I'm saying? the big fella for Green Mile. I was like, whoa! I had to check my eyes. I said, that is the largest human being I've ever seen. But again, I thought our guys, matching up on him, and they did a solid job. He made a couple plays, but man, they held their own. So I thought, Bach, other than the snap and a couple of IDs, saying he got a little overzealous on a couple identifications where we probably needed needed to stay with a slide protection as opposed to going to some more of our man stuff. But he's going to grow through that. But I like Bach's leadership at center. Man, he's going to do nothing but get better. But I think to answer your question, with Rayburn, pulling Rayburn through the knot hole gives us the ability to have more flexibility, right? And also be able, because, man, one thing about Bachhorst, and you guys already know this, but if you don't, man, he gives you everything he's got. Man, he's an emotional player. Man, he plays hard, and he needs to be able to be rested a little bit from that standpoint, just to help him against himself, because he plays so hard and he expends so much energy. So that's where, Rayburn can help us out. And then also, too, the same thing with Putnam. So you got those guys that are playing a ton of snaps. So T.O. got in there, for Tate. Tate obviously did some good things, but you can tell that things started moving a little bit fast. So you got T.O. in there. So T.O., Rayburn's a guy we need to step up. Mitchell Mays, is a guy that we need to be able to get in there to play a little bit of tackle. So we got all those guys on the offensive line, and hopefully we're going to have some opportunities, going forward to be able to get those guys in. And I think every coach, especially on the offensive side of the ball, wanted to play some more guys, but you got into that situation where you're in a tight game. You went more with your experienced guys.
Some guys like Bach and McFadden playing some different positions, some different starters. Do you think that cohesion and chemistry is going to take some time with that group?
Naturally, you could lean that way, but I think the cohesion is starting to come together. Now they were challenged with some three-man twists. They had some really good three-man twists that we were just a half a count late on passing off. So I think as we continue to practice, that cohesion will solidify as we go forward.
Without E.J. now in the slot, I mean, who are the guys that you pinpoint and say we want to move them in there? Obviously, Brandon Spector is there.
Yeah, Specs out, but Bo Collins is a guy, that's going to have to, wanted to get him in the game. We wish we would have found some snaps for him. So, Bo Collins is a guy that we're going to have to move inside. Dakari's a guy that's been a swing guy for us. He's played multiple spots. Obviously, J. Ross is there in the slot as well. So we'll go forward, and then Frank's a guy too that we can move around a little bit. He's played some of the field slot, and actually Frank's played a little bit of all the positions. So we got some flexibility there. Anticipate getting EJ back hopefully at some point this season. But in the meantime, we're gonna have to cross train guys and get them ready to go. Kobe was really consistent in the spring. I thought he had a really good spring. Carried that over into fall camp. Biggest thing for Kobe and really for all the running backs is they didn't get many opportunities to impact the game and touch the ball. So that's really what I need to do is get them more opportunities and more touches so that we can see exactly what we need out of Kobe. But just in general, a couple things for Kobe and the rest of the backs is trying not to see. You want them to see stuff in protection. All right, let me start there. You want them to see things in protection, but you don't want them to see too many things, right? They got to know what they're looking at, process it, right? And then if it tells them to get out, then they got to get out on a route to give the quarterback somewhere to go with the ball. Then another one, I think there was Lin J on another situation we made the play, but he's pointing and looking and processing, and then the backer triggers and he's late to step up and hit him in the hole. Which flushes the quarterback. So just timing things from that standpoint and just big picture understanding. Okay, right. We're going to trust the offensive line in certain situations to handle protection. I need you to be an outlet for the quarterback out of the backfield.
Tony, I think Dabo said last night one of the sacks was on one of the receivers. Can you just kind of walk us through what you saw there?
Well, that was the one I think he was talking about with J. Ross, and really it was a situation where you give him the ability to work off of leverage, right? And so the original guy that he was working off of blitzed, right? But whenever that guy blitzes, somebody else is going to replace. Well, the guy replaced, and he was heavy inside leverage. So you got one or two options, right? You either need to turn out, and if we turn out, man, it's an easily pitch and catch, and he's probably running for a big play. But if you decide, right, because you got depth, you still got some room between you and the defender, you can cross face. But you got to cross face on the defender to protect the quarterback. Right, and we didn't cross face on the defender, so obviously they're gonna look at the quarterback. Well, why did he throw it there? Well, he's reading, what the receiver does, and so the receiver broke in, but he's got to break hard and he's got to cross face right there to protect the quarterback and the throw.
When you guys went RPO, did you agree like the decisions that D.J. made in those situations to throw more often?
Yeah, I was good with the decisions in the RPO game, and again, that's where that's some of the hidden things in the game. If you hand those balls off, more times than not, you're going to have a positive play in the run game as well.
What did you think about Ngata and his ability to kind of help DJ?
Yeah, it was good for Ngata. You know, he's a guy that missed a lot of time last year. You know, kind of was up and down in camp just in terms of his availability. But for him to come out, man, I thought he played fast. I thought he made some tough physical catches. Thought he played physical in the run game. So it was good to see him, you know, close to what his potential is. You know, and be able to sustain that for an entire game, and then come out the game, you know, healthy and ready to go. For the next one, so it was good to see him. So now that gives you, you know, a lot more confidence, you know, into the boundary, right? So you can say, okay, now you can use Ross wherever you need to use Ross, but you know you got, you know, that guy that can play at a high level into the boundary.
What about with J. Ross? Where do you see him physically? Is he just like knocking some rust off at this point?
You know, it's hard to tell because out here on the practice field, man, he was lights out. You know, just his play speed and his change of direction, all those things were like, wow. And then we get in the game, you saw some of that, but also too, he hasn't played in, you know, a very, very long time. And so, you know, game shape is different than, you know, practice shape. Game speed is a little bit different than practice speed. So I anticipate Ross is going to bounce back, man. He cares. Talk to him after the game. You know, you know, obviously he was hurting, right? And again, do you think that Ross didn't want to, you know, convert right there or do what he's supposed to do? No, it's just you got to go execute it, you know, with a certain level of intensity every single play.
What was the, I guess, general percentage of pre-snap motion and shifts and things in this game compared to what you generally would like it to be?
You know, I think with a younger quarterback as well in that environment, you know, he's got to manage all that. So you want to take some of that stuff. There's unknowns too. You know, you're going into a first game and you think you know what you're going to get, but you're not sure. And so you kind of want to let him be able to see it, all right. And then when you're getting into trying to find rhythm, man, let's just go with some rhythm plays. You know, let's line up for the quarterback. You know, let's some quick game stuff. Let him get a rhythm. You know, and try not to do as much motioning and shifting, just to kind of settle those guys in. But you know, generally we want to move and shift and create some angles. But again, a lot of that is predicated on your preparation and being able to kind of anticipate exactly what kind of movement and fronts and conflict that you're going to create on a defense.
What do you remember about your time at South Carolina State working with Freddie, and how do you feel like that's really, helped you where you are now?
Right. I think perspective, perspective and helps me to always, stay humble and understand where I came from, and grateful to Coach Pough and all of his staff for welcoming me in. Also, I thank him for challenging me to say, and I think he said it in that article, that he didn't want me to be there long. So that kind of confirmed in me that he saw something, right, and encouraged me to be the best that I can be, and just proud of what he means to that program, and what he's done for that program, what he's done for that community. So it's gonna be a special moment before the game, getting to see those guys. But just a constant reminder, right, that don't get too big for your britches, right, so to speak. Stay humble. Remember where you came from, and if it wasn't for individuals like Brad Scott, right, who called Buddy Pough taking a chance on me, Bobby Lamb taking a chance on me, Coach Swinney, taking a chance on me. So it's just humbling to be able to say that, you know what, that's where I got my start. And then also encourage a lot of coaches out there that are trying to move up the ranks, that it's you can start wherever you need to start, but you still can dream big and get to where you want to be. Right. Well, this is the biggest game of the year, and so nobody's overlooking South Carolina State, and the biggest thing for us is, man, we got to get better. Right, there's a lot of things that we can improve upon, and so we don't have time to be sluggish. We don't have time to overlook opponent. Right, we have a formula for excellence that's on that wall. Prepare with purpose. We gave great effort, but we didn't have great technique. Right, and we were committed. But did we have 100% commitment on every single play? So we got an opportunity to get better. So it doesn't matter who the opponent is. It's about us focusing on the things that we need to do to get better. And it just so happens that the guys that'll be across from us are from there down in Orangeburg.
What do you think about Coach Pough and his, replacing a legend and then really becoming one?
Yeah, that's hard to do. you know, because I was down there, and one thing with Coach Jeffries, that's probably one of the funniest human beings I've been around. And I know he carries his little joke book around, and and then and then Coach Pough played for him, you know, and you know that'd be kind of like me following Coach Swinney. I don't know if I want to do that, but he was able to carry forward the legacy and create his own, you know, and I know his commitment to the university as well. You know, the things that he's had to sacrifice in order for the university to be there, the things that he's had to go out and do on his own to be able to provide, you know, a very, very quality experience for his players, you know, at that program. So hats off to Coach Pough. Still text with him back and forth every once in a while, and anytime he asks me to do something, whether it's speak at a Rotary Club or something for him, I'm always willing to do it, just because he's a genuine person, and that's what I appreciate. Going back to the question about my time at South Carolina State, man, I got an opportunity to see how much he loves, you know, those young men that he coaches down there, right? And that's something that stuck with me. And you learn things every stop along the way, but that's something I really remember about Coach Pough is, man, he's hard on them now. He coaches them hard. He coaches his coaches hard, but he loves hard too.
What aspect of, I guess, his coaching style do you feel like he kind of carried with you today?
You know, he challenged me, you know, at an early age to be detailed, you know, to be detailed and to, you know, think beyond your circumstances, right? So if you look at Clemson, man, we don't lack anything. We got every resource that we need. And part of that is the philosophy of, if you're going to demand the best from your players, you got to give them the best. Well, South Carolina State doesn't have the budget that Clemson has. But Coach Pough was trying to create an environment that was very similar to his experiences when he was at the University of South Carolina. You know, he got film intercut within the league, you know, so he challenged everybody in the league, right, to step their game up from a video perspective, the way that we practiced, you know, so he was always trying to, even though his circumstances may have said you don't have the budget to do some of the things that you want, he found ways because he believed that was what was right and that was the best thing for the players. So that there, just that belief, right, and challenging yourself to think beyond your circumstances and then being detailed in what you do.
We'll take one or two from Zoom if anybody has anything.
Head coach, this is Trevor Gross from CUTigers.com. You moved DJ out wide, brought in Will Taylor there in the second quarter. Was that part of the script, or was that in the game attempt to? No,
we had a plan. I think that you guys down the road are going to see how electric number 16 is, and really it was a situation that, especially trying to generate run game, we may need a spark. And his legs may have gave us a spark, so we tried to get him in there. You know, and he made the right read. So it was a decision read on the defensive end, and we didn't put him. He didn't react and become in conflict enough for him to pull the ball. But I would have liked to have seen him pull it, because I think he could have got the edge. And if he would have got loose, then that would have been play. But it was part of the plan.
We'll take one more from Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Tony, it's Pete Uiagalelei. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you.
You guys weren't the only team this weekend in the ACC, high-ranked team in the ACC that didn't get the weekend it wanted. Is that just a good reminder that, hey, you know, you got to put the work in to get what you want, no matter it's not about the preseason, what people think you're going to be? I mean, that's got to be a good lesson for you to impart to the guys.
Oh, no doubt. And every game is a season of its own. Right, that's why every day matters, and we got to have that windshield mentality. We got to have that daily focus to what we're doing. We got to have attention to detail. So as a coach, obviously it doesn't, you know, lighten the burden of how you played, but at the same time too, you realize that, okay, this is college football. This is week one, you know, and we're coming off of the preseason, and we don't have any preseason games, and we've been going against, you know, defensive structures that may be different than what we see on game day. So it's a good reminder, you know, for us as coaches, but at the same time too, we always got to challenge our guys, because every week, you know, every game for us is the most important game of the season. And so now it's back to going 1-0 this week and figuring out how we can play better and continue to build and create some momentum going forward.
All right, thank you, Coach. We'll wrap up Coach Elliott.
I missed this earlier, but what's the plan without EJ for the next month or so?
Oh, you know, guys are got to step up. Bo Collins, Dakari Collins, you know, those guys are going to have to step up, and Frank may have to go inside a little bit. And so, you know, we try to cross-train those guys as many of the three positions as they can play and they can handle. But we'll be, and then you got J. Ross in the slot, so we'll have some flexibility there.
All All right, thank you, Coach. We'll bring in James Skalski momentarily.
All right, thank y'all.